CHP Istanbul Provincial Çelik Çelik faces 17 years in prison. Republican People's Party. CHP Istanbul Provincial Çelik Çelik was charged with up to 17 years in prison. An indictment was prepared against 26 suspects, including CHP Istanbul Provincial Çelik Çelik, with a demand for up to 17 years in prison. The investigation initiated by Istanbul Chief Public Prosecutor's Office on the grounds that some of the crowd gathered in front of the Istanbul Courthouse in Çağlayan, where Ekrem İmamoğlu, who was suspended from his post as the mayor of Istanbul Metropolitan Municipality (IBB) after his arrest in the corruption investigation against Istanbul Metropolitan Municipality (IBB), came to testify on January 31st for two separate investigations, resisted the law enforcement officers. The indictment named 5 police officers as complainants and 26 people, including CHP Istanbul Provincial Çelik Çelik and Istanbul Provincial Youth Branch Chair Erdem Kara, as suspects. The indictment stated that the crowd gathered on the day of the incident was warned to disperse, and the warning was seen in the camera footage in the file. The indictment stated that the suspects resisted the line formed by the security forces and insisted on not dispersing, and committed the crime of violating the law on meetings and demonstrations. The indictment emphasized that the suspects acted together in unity of thought and action and injured the complainant, police officers. That it was not possible to determine which suspect injured which complainant due to the fact that the scene was very crowded and the brawl was large, and that they committed the crime of resisting with more than one person to prevent the execution of duty. It was determined that the police officer was injured in the indictment, stating that a report was issued stating that the complainant police officer MY had a second-degree bone fracture and that he was injured to the extent that it could not be eliminated by simple medical intervention. It was noted that it was not possible to determine by whom MY was injured and that all suspects committed the crime of intentional injury against the complainant. The indictment stated that 12 riot shields and 2 personnel helmets belonging to Istanbul Security Directorate Riot Force Branch Directorate were damaged during the incident, and that the cost of the shields was €1,920 and the cost of the helmets was 4,000 liras, and that all suspects were jointly responsible for the act in question and committed the crime of damaging public property. In the indictment, 26 suspects were sentenced to 3 years and 11 months to 17 years imprisonment each on charges of resisting to prevent the execution of duty, participating in unlawful meetings and marches without weapons, and not dispersing spontaneously, despite the warning, intentional injury and damaging public property.